A little girl of 8 froze when she heard her mother say she would take her away. Melanie is in the living room, the soft afternoon light coming through the windows, illuminating the space. She hears light footsteps approaching and recognizes the sound of her mother's heels. Melanie's heart beats faster, something inside her senses that something is not right. She hides behind the sofa, a place where she always felt safe when playing hide and seek. Her mother stops in the middle of the room and answers the phone. Melanie can only hear fragments of the conversation. "I don't know what to do," her mother begins, her voice heavy with palpable sadness. "I simply can't take care of her anymore." Melanie feels a lump forming in her throat. She presses her hands against her ears, trying to muffle the words that hurt her. But curiosity and fear are stronger. She lowers her hands and hears her mother continue. "Yes, the orphanage seems to be the only solution." Melanie's world seems to crumble at that moment. Orphanage. The word echoes in her mind, cold and terrifying. She feels tears beginning to stream down her face. Pain and fear mix in a confusion of emotions that she can't control. Why would her mother do this to her? Doesn't she love her anymore? She remembers the happy moments they spent together, the walks in the park, the nights when they read stories before bed, the warm hugs that made everything seem okay. Those memories now seem distant, almost unreal. The present reality is a nightmare from which she cannot wake up. Her mother hangs up the phone, and Melanie sees the expression of pain and indecision on her face. For a moment, she thinks of coming out of hiding and running into her mother's arms, begging for everything to be just a misunderstanding. But fear keeps her in place, as if she were paralyzed. What would she do if her mother confirmed that she was really going to take her away? The thought of being taken to a strange place, full of unknown people, deeply frightens her. She imagines herself alone, with no one to hug her when she feels sad or scared. Despair takes over her small body, and she feels an urgent need to do something, anything, to change what seems to be her inevitable fate. Melanie is sitting on a bench in the orphanage courtyard, watching the other children play. The sun shines brightly, but she feels enveloped in a cloud of sadness. The sound of children's laughter around her seems distant, as if coming from a world she does not belong to. Her mind is stuck on the moment her mother left her here, with the promise to return in a few days. Days that turned into weeks, then months. She vividly remembers the last time she saw her mother. She was dressed in her best blue dress, her eyes full of tears, but her voice firm when she said, "I'll be back soon, my dear. I promise." Melanie believed, holding on to those words as if they were a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. Her mother had always been the rock in her life, the person who made her feel safe and loved. The thought of being left behind was unimaginable. But now, sitting here, Melanie feels betrayed and abandoned. Each day that passes without her mother returning is like a new stab in her heart. She wonders what she did wrong to deserve this. Has her mother forgotten her? Has she found a new life where Melanie has no place? These questions torment her, stealing her sleep and her peace. She watches the orphanage gates, waiting at any moment to see the familiar figure of her mother crossing them, coming to take her home. But the gates remain closed, and each day without seeing them open deepens her despair. The orphanage caregivers try to comfort her, saying that her mother must have had some problem, but Melanie knows that something is profoundly wrong. Melanie sees other children being adopted, their expressions transforming from fear to hope. She feels a bitter mix of envy and happiness for them. What if one day she is next? What if her mother really does come back? But what if she never returns? She's caught in an endless cycle of hope and despair. Memories of the happy days with her mother surface in her mind like fragments of a dream. The aroma of breakfast, the comforting sound of her mother's voice reading stories to her at night, the warmth of the hugs that made everything seem okay. These memories now feel so distant, almost unreal. Melanie clings to them, fearing that if she lets them go, she will lose the last connection to her mother. Sometimes she wonders if she should stop waiting. Maybe, if she accepts her new reality, the pain will lessen. But then, guilt floods her. Giving up on waiting feels like a betrayal of her mother, of the promise she made. Melanie finds herself trapped in an emotional dilemma, not knowing how to move forward. The nights are the worst. When all the children are sleeping and the orphanage is quiet, Melanie feels more alone than ever. She hugs her pillow, trying to find comfort in the dark. The tears flow freely, and she whispers to herself, "Mommy, please come back. I need you." The loneliness is overwhelming, and her mother's absence is a weight she carries every moment. Melanie tries to stay strong, but the pain of being abandoned by someone she believed would always be there is unbearable. She seeks refuge in books, in stories that transport her to other worlds where mothers never leave their children. But every time she closes a book, the cruel reality comes back to haunt her. Her mother's broken promise is an open wound that doesn't seem to heal. Each day is a battle to keep hope alive, to believe that her mother will truly come back for her. From the first day she was left here, Melanie believes something must have happened to her mother. She remembers the last time she saw her, the tight hug, and the gentle words. "I'll be back soon, darling. I just need to sort some things out." Her mother's voice was firm, but her eyes were full of a sadness that Melanie couldn't understand at the time. She clings to those words as if they were a lifeline, convinced that her mother wouldn't abandon her willingly. The other girls at the orphanage, over the years, try to convince Melanie otherwise. "Your mother isn't coming back, Melanie," they say, sometimes with a tone of pity, other times with childish cruelty. "She left you here because she doesn't want you anymore." These words are like stabs in Melanie's heart, but she refuses to believe them. She knows her mother, knows the love they shared. There must be an explanation. Melanie spends hours looking at the horizon, imagining all the possible scenarios. Maybe her mother got lost, maybe she had an accident or is sick. Each thought is an attempt to justify the prolonged absence. She writes letters to her mother, even though she has nowhere to send them, describing her day-to-day, her hopes, and fears. The letters are her way of keeping the connection alive, of believing that, somewhere, her mother is thinking of her. Sometimes, at night, when the orphanage is silent, Melanie cries quietly into her pillow. The pain of the endless wait is overwhelming. She misses her mother's warm hugs, the bedtime stories, the comfort that only maternal love can offer. Each passing year, the hope of finding her mother again mixes with the pain of uncertainty. Despite everything, Melanie keeps the flame of hope alive. She participates in the orphanage's activities, makes friends, and tries to enjoy the small moments of happiness. But always, in the back of her mind, there's the constant waiting, the constant question, "Where is my mother?" The orphanage caregivers try to comfort her, saying that sometimes people simply can't come back, but Melanie feels that her situation is different. She clings to the few happy memories she has, using them as a shield against the harsh words of the other children. She knows her mother loved her, and that is what keeps her strong. The years pass, and Melanie becomes a resilient and determined young woman. She studies diligently, participates in the orphanage's cultural activities, always with the hope that one day her mother will appear in the audience, proudly smiling at her. Each day is a battle against doubt, but she refuses to give up. Melanie keeps a small photo album that she managed to bring from home. In it, there are photos of her with her mother, smiling and happy. Every time she feels discouraged, she looks at these photos and feels a renewal of her determination. She doesn't know what happened, but she is sure that, somehow, her mother will return. At 16 years old, Melanie already knows what she wants in life. She chooses design as her career, passionate about creating and transforming ideas into reality. She remembers how drawing was her escape during the difficult days at the orphanage. Now, this passion is her path to the future. She enrolls in a technical course, where she spends hours drawing, studying design theories, and learning to use graphic editing software. The nights are long and lonely, but Melanie feels accompanied by her dream. Each page turned, each project completed is a step closer to her goal. She pushes herself to continue, even when exhaustion threatens to take over. Fatigue is a small price to pay for the success she aspires to. The encouraging words from her teachers and the high grades motivate her to keep moving forward. During the day, Melanie works in a small design shop, gaining practical experience and helping to pay her expenses. She knows that every minute invested is a crucial piece of her education. The challenges are many, but she faces them with courage and determination. Each satisfied customer, each compliment received is validation that she is on the right path. At 18, Melanie earns a scholarship to a prestigious university. The pride she feels upon receiving the acceptance letter is indescribable. She remembers all the sleepless nights, the tears of frustration, and the times she almost gave up. But now, she is more determined than ever. At university, she excels, absorbing all the knowledge she can, participating in projects, and making valuable connections. Between classes and work, Melanie still finds time to stay in touch with Quentin, her friend from the orphanage days. They share their victories and challenges, offering support to each other. Quentin, always the loyal friend, is a constant source of motivation and inspiration. He reminds Melanie of her achievements and encourages her to keep pursuing her dreams. Their friendship is an unshakable foundation, a reminder that despite the hardships, she is never alone. Quentin has also found his path. He works at a tech startup, developing innovative apps. They regularly meet for lunch to talk about their lives and careers. These meetings are precious moments where they reminisce about the past, but also celebrate the present and dream about the future. Melanie's coworkers soon notice her talent and dedication. She is frequently praised for her innovative ideas and the passion she puts into every project. This fills her with pride but also a subtle longing to share these achievements with someone who deeply understands her. Melanie becomes a respected figure in the company, her passion and work ethic are inspiring. She works tirelessly, always seeking to improve her skills and learn more. Recognition comes in the form of promotions and opportunities to lead important projects. Each achievement is a testament to her determination and how much she has overcome to get here. At the end of a particularly exhausting day, Melanie leaves the office and finds Quentin waiting for her. He hugs her tightly, and for a moment, she feels that all the challenges are worth it. They walk together, talking about the ups and downs of their professional lives. Quentin makes her laugh with his funny work stories, and Melanie feels grateful to have someone like him in her life. Quentin always reminds her how strong and capable she is. "You're amazing, Mel," he says, with sincerity in his eyes. "Look at how far you've come. And this is just the beginning." These words deeply touch her, renewing her determination to keep excelling in her career. Weekends are moments of relaxation and fun for Melanie and Quentin. They explore the city, visit museums, and attend cultural events. These moments of downtime are important for Melanie, as they help her balance the pressure of work with the need to keep her creativity alive. Today is a special day for Melanie, she's turning 23. She stretches with a soft smile on her lips as she thinks about the surprises the day might bring. In recent years, Melanie has dedicated herself to working hard and building her career, but today, she decides to set aside her responsibilities for a moment and allow herself to celebrate. As she comes down the stairs, she finds Quentin in the kitchen, preparing a special breakfast. He smiles as he sees her and hugs her tightly. They share laughter and stories over breakfast, and she feels grateful to have such an amazing friend by her side. After breakfast, Quentin surprises her with a trip to a beauty salon. Melanie laughs, surprised and excited. "You really thought of everything, didn't you?" Quentin smiles back. "Today is your day, and you deserve to be pampered." At the salon, Melanie is greeted by a team that treats her like a princess. She chooses a new haircut and a color she's been wanting to try for a while, feeling renewed and confident as she watches her transformation in the mirror. Every moment at the salon is an experience of self-care and empowerment. She closes her eyes as her nails are done, savoring the luxury of the moment. It's a reminder of how hard she's worked and how much she deserves every bit of happiness. When she finally looks at herself in the mirror, she sees a more radiant and confident version of herself. Quentin, waiting for her at the reception, is amazed. "You look incredible, Mel." Back at the apartment, Melanie finds another surprise waiting for her, a message from her company. She reads it with wide eyes and a racing heart. "Happy birthday, Melanie. As an appreciation for your excellent work, we're gifting you a weekend trip to the destination of your choice." She can hardly believe what she's reading. Her coworkers have always appreciated her effort and dedication, but this surprise is beyond what she expected. Melanie calls the company to thank them personally. Her colleagues congratulate her and encourage her to make the most of the trip. She feels deeply valued and respected, not just as a professional, but also as a person. The news of the trip quickly spreads among friends and family, all of whom are excited for her. Quentin helps her choose the destination. After much deliberation, they settle on a charming seaside town that Melanie has always wanted to visit. The prospect of the trip fills her heart with excitement and gratitude. She starts planning what to do, eager to explore new places and create unforgettable memories. At night, Quentin organizes a small surprise party at the apartment. Close friends and colleagues are present, bringing gifts and sharing laughter. Melanie finds herself surrounded by friends and colleagues, all celebrating her birthday in an atmosphere of joy and affection. Quentin, her longtime friend, seems especially nervous and anxious. As she opens the presents, her eyes catch sight of a stunning gold bracelet and a delicately adorned ring. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes what this might mean. Quentin has always been a constant presence in her life, a loyal friend who has shared her joys and sorrows since the difficult days at the orphanage. He knows her dreams, her struggles, her hopes. The gift he chose is not just an expression of love but also a symbol of their journey together. Melanie feels a lump in her throat, touched by Quentin's carefully thought-out gesture. As she admires the jewelry, Quentin gathers his courage and leads her to a quieter corner. His eyes are fixed on hers, full of tenderness and nerves. "Melanie," he begins, his voice a whisper laden with emotion, "since the day we met, you've been the light of my life. You're my inspiration, my best friend, my adventure partner." Melanie holds her breath, unable to look away from him. He holds her hands, trembling slightly but with determination. "I can't imagine my life without you. You complete me in a way I never knew I needed. Melanie, would you marry me?" Time seems to freeze as the words hang between them. Melanie feels a mix of surprise, joy, and a wave of intense love that leaves her speechless. Melanie's heart races as she looks at Quentin, seeing all the times he stood by her side, supporting and loving her unconditionally. Every shared memory, every challenge overcome together, all culminating in this unique moment. She knows Quentin is her anchor, her safe harbor amid life's storms. The marriage proposal is more than a promise of eternal love, it's a bond that transcends time and circumstances. Tears stream down Melanie's face as she nods in ecstasy. "Yes," she whispers, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, Quentin, I accept." He envelopes her in a warm embrace, and the world around them disappears as they share this moment of pure happiness and love. The party continues around them, but for Melanie and Quentin, time seems to have slowed, allowing them to lose themselves in each other. Friends gather around, happy and emotional, to congratulate them. She feels blessed to have found someone who loves her so deeply, someone with whom she can build a future full of hope and promises. She recalls the moments when Quentin made her laugh until her stomach hurt, the deep late-night conversations, and the comforting hugs during tough times. Amidst all this, Melanie now realizes that her feelings for him were deeper than she had admitted. The fear of losing Quentin as a friend always made her put up a barrier around her romantic feelings, but now, looking back, she wonders if things could have been different. Quentin, on the other hand, has always been the confidant, the constant companion Melanie fully trusted. He too harbored deep secrets in his heart, feelings he hid for fear of risking the precious friendship they shared. He remembers the times he held her hand in moments of uncertainty, the times he wanted to say more than words aloud but held back for fear of ruining everything. They know they can't change the past, but they are determined to build a future together, based on the honesty and emotional openness they now share. It is a moment of revelation that strengthens their bond and prepares them for the challenges ahead. As the night progresses, Melanie and Quentin discuss their wedding, imagining what it would be like to exchange vows and commit to each other forever. Melanie dreams of a simple white dress, while Quentin suggests an intimate outdoor ceremony surrounded by the nature they both love. The conversation extends to where they will live after getting married. Melanie shares her desire to live near the city, where she can continue her career in design. Quentin expresses his love for the tranquility of the countryside, envisioning a house with a large garden where they can grow flowers and vegetables together. They find common ground in the idea of a home that serves as a refuge of peace and inspiration. As they plan, Melanie's eyes sparkle with excitement at the thought of sharing a life with Quentin. She has never seen herself so clearly as she does now, navigating the challenges and joys of building a life together. Quentin, for his part, feels a new determination in his steps, knowing he is finally following his heart and building a future alongside the woman he loves. They talk late into the night, deciding on the wedding date, planning to visit potential ceremony locations, and beginning to sketch out the first steps to turn their dreams into reality. Melanie and Quentin are a beacon of hope for the young people at the orphanage, a living testament that true love and happiness are attainable, regardless of the adversities faced in the past. They are remembered by the other youth as that couple whose journey began in a place of uncertainty and loneliness but blossomed into an inspiring and resilient love story. In the halls of the orphanage, where the walls carry stories of turbulent childhoods and deferred dreams, Melanie and Quentin stand out as living examples of how mutual support and determination can transform lives. For Melanie, her life since that first meeting at the orphanage has been marked by a constant search for belonging and meaning. In Quentin, she found not just a friend but a confidant and a soulmate. In moments of doubt and loneliness, he was the rock she could lean on, offering unconditional love and emotional support when she needed it most. Together, they discovered that love can heal old wounds and open doors to a future full of promise. Their connection is a constant reminder to the other young people at the orphanage that it is never too late to find genuine happiness and true love. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any emotional stories. Stay tuned for the next video.